Hey modelers, thanks for stopping by. My name's Darren. Welcome to the channel. Here on our channel you're going to find all sorts of scale modeling content such as kit, product reviews, step-by-step tutorials. One of the new things that we're doing now is the live streams and AMAs. Those are a lot of fun. As well as other scale modeling related content. Our intent here is the same as it is over on our podcast, the Modelgeeks podcast, and that's to promote the hobby as best we can. If you're new here and scale modeling is something that you're interested in, then please consider subscribing. Just hit the old subscribe button down there, click the notification bell, and that way, and anytime we upload new content, you'll be notified. This week's video was requested by several different viewers, and it comes off the heels of the last video that I uploaded, which was the intro to our Modelgeeks podcast group build that we're sponsoring for the IPMS Nationals being held in San Marcos, Texas in 2023. And that will be theme is MIG killers. That video is, I'll link right up here so you can take a look at that if you haven't already seen it. So I used a Quinta set in that build and in that video, and several viewers asked if I would do a tutorial on how to actually install it. So in this video we'll take a look at the set itself and we'll do a quick step-by-step installation. If you have any questions, please shoot them to me in the comments below. I'll get you an answer as soon as I possibly can. So again, thanks for stopping by, and now let's go ahead and jump into the video. So there are several different manufacturers out there when it comes to these 3D details. You have, of course, Quinta. You have Red Fox Studio. We have Kit World. It's on the market now. There's Edward in the Game with Space, and then the new kid on the block, Calic. All these are good in their own right. For the sake of this video, we're going to use the Quinta Studio. They all pretty much are installed the same way. So in the package here, we have, for this set, 3 different items. One is the ejection seat details, lap belts and shoulder harnesses, and as a matter of fact, that ejection control handle, we are going to utilize that. You'll see in a little bit further in the video, there's no ejection control handle on my seat, so we're going to use that. We have the side bulkhead pieces and the aft bulkhead pieces for the cockpit tub itself. And then, of course, the instrument panels, both the forward instrument panel and our side panels. The instructions look like just about any photo etch set you would get. It's going to tell you which details need to be taken off and which cockpit or kit pieces to use. In this instance, there's 3, the seat, the panel, and the tub itself. To get this out of here, we'll take just another real quick look at the details on the panel. Note the details there's a ton of them, but really pay attention to the displays in the glass. For the gauges, the finish is really cool, and I like that these are represented with the power off. So next the first thing we got to do here is we got to get these kit pieces off the sprues. No need to really clean them up at this point, but we do need to get them off, and we need to start taking the raised detail off. My favorite thing for get the surface detail off, little knobs and switches, etc., are these little diamond files. This one here is flat. It works really well. With that pointed tip, I can get into some of the sharper areas, and the grit on this thing is such that it really takes the detail off. Now that said, be careful. Check your work lightly, and because the goal here is not to make this whole instrument panel flat. The goal here is to just take the surface detail off. You still want that 3D relief. For instance, this side display, we want to take the ring off of the display, but we want to leave the depth so that it looks like it's 3-dimensional. And you'll see when we get done all the details exactly what I'm talking about. So a little bit of patience, a little bit of elbow grease, and you know, after a few minutes of sanding, those details come right off with no problem. So here you'll see the instrument panel is cleaned of all the surface detail, yet there's still 3D relief there. Same with the cockpit tub, all the surface details off, and things are just flat enough to go ahead and put our details on. Next, a little Mr. Surfacer Black, a little Mr. Color Leveling Thinner, and my trusty old medicine cup there, and we're going to mix some primer and go ahead and get these parts primed and ready for our gray base coat. Just make sure we get the kick panels. Not really worried about the side panels themselves because they're going to be covered. Same with the aft bulkhead. We do want the centerpiece done, but we just want to get a nice thin coat of the Mr. Surfacer. Next, we get out our old 36-231 NATO, US NATO interior gray. Give it a shake and go ahead and get our interior colors down. Now glues. My favorite is Elmer's glue. Some folks use super glue. I'm not a fan of that. I'd like to take this Elmer's glue, go ahead and add a little bit of warm water to it. And it's just to kind of thin it just a little bit. It makes it easier to brush. The thing I like about it, it gives you a really good working time, as well as it dries clear. And it dries relatively quick. So I'll go ahead and get my little eyeliner brushes here. These I get on Amazon, and they're great for doing this little detail stuff or detail painting themselves. As a matter of fact, I'll link to all the products I've used here in the description below using the Amazon affiliate link, so check them out. Anyhow, mix this up, get a little bit, put it on the panel. First we'll go ahead and cut these off. We're going to get them into the water. You'll note now there is a little bit of an edit coming up, but the total time set off here is probably about 30 seconds, and they are ready to come off of this backing paper. It's not like a regular decal. They really come loose quick, and they're ready to assemble. So by the time I get my glue here and I get just a little coat down, they're ready to come loose. So give just a little bit of coat on the side panels, and then you'll see here I'll pick up here and hit that with my my finger, and those things are ready to slide right off with no problem. They're fairly tough, and you don't have to be too careful with them. You see, I just use the tweezers, get them right in there. You can use your finger. It's not like a decal. You're not going to wrinkle anything up. And with that white glue and that little bit of water mixed in it, you've got a really good working time. So you can make sure everything is lined up with no problem. So go ahead and get those in place. Like I said, if you got to push it around, you can do that. You're not going to hurt anything. Make sure that it's all straight. You got a toothpick out. It's one of my favorite tools to use when I'm working even with decals. And just kind of make sure that everything's good. I know I harped before on the working time, but if you had super glue on there, it may have already dried. And then if it does, and it's stuck sideways, well, you're kind of screwed. So Elmer's glue and water works really well. There you go. So those are in place. Now we'll go ahead and we'll put those aft bulkhead pieces in. Same way, same process. Just go ahead and get them cut off the from the rest of the pieces. Give them a good dunk, baptism in the water. And again, by the time we get the glue on this bulkhead, those are going to be ready to come off there and to go into place. So that's too much. So I want to smear that around. Just kind of, like I said, it will dry clear, but you really don't want it squishing out the sides. So there, they're ready to come off. Again, just tweezers and putting them in where they need to go. Now it's got the raised liquid oxygen heat exchanger on it. All these little details are really, really crisp, and they really add to the look of the cockpit. Now these aren't something I use all the time. I would much rather paint personally, but in a pinch, especially for the kit that I'm doing, like I said, this is a sample, but the kit that I am doing didn't have any details, so I needed to use something. And there you go. We got the all the decals in. Just give them a little bit of a push to make sure that all the glue is made contact and is in place. And you can see once we put the seat down inside here, it really it adds a lot. You also see how the grays just kind of blend in a little bit better once that seat's in there. So very hard to see the rest of it later on. Now the instrument panel. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and do all of them at one time. Now I'll cut off the pieces that I don't need, and what you need to do is make sure that you're paying attention to the instructions and that you're utilizing the boxes that are meant for the aircraft you're building. In this case, I need to take that center box out. It's not used, so I'll set it off to the side. So go ahead and get that all trimmed up, and back into the old, to the bath. Into the bathtub we go. This goes back to just kind of show that working time. With that white glue, you have plenty of time to do what you need to do, and it doesn't take a lot of the glue either. So I'm just going to dab it here, dab it there, get wherever we need it, and then make sure that we thin it out, not a problem, and then start putting our displays on, and I'll just work straight across. So we go, oops, so we'll go with the right, the center, up front control, and then of course the rest of the displays. You're going to turn around twice. You've got them all in place. Again, just take a toothpick, you can get in there and make sure that they're all straight and that they look the way you want them, because once the glue sets, they are there and in place. So there we go. They're in place. It says had probably about 20-30 minutes to dry. I'll go ahead and clip that bottom piece off, and let's throw her into the cockpit and see what she looks like. Get it set in there, and you can see the detail that this thing gives your model is really pretty cool. You can see I'm pushing on them with no problem with my hand. I'm not hurting anything. The white glue is dried with no problems, and it's in there. It's in place. Back over with the seat in. There's a couple shots. So, yep, looks really cool, and it will work well, I think. So, well, there you have it. These detail sets, they're really easy to use. They're really easy to work with, and they really do add another level of realism to your build. Once again, I said it up front, I'll say it again. If you have any questions about the video or the detail sets in general, please shoot them to me in the comments below. I'll get you an answer as soon as I possibly can. Lastly, I want to thank you again for stopping by. I hope the tutorial has helped you out. If it has, please give the video a like. Those likes really do help us out here on the channel. So, I'll also plug again, if scale modeling is something that interests you, then please consider hitting that subscribe button below and clicking that notification bell so that you're notified whenever we upload new content. Again, thanks for stopping by. Until next time, let's all be good to each other, and by all means, get out there and build something. Peace.